Hello, everybody. It's your favorite surrealist artist, Judah X Pimentel, and I got some exciting news, at least for me and for residents in Sacramento and people that know me. Basically, I got awarded to pretty much just make art to promote something that the city of Sacramento has been working on for a couple of, maybe like last year to now. So I'm super excited to help with something so big and also do it artistically and creatively. Basically, this project that I'm helping with and that I'm promoting is the Del Rio project. I'm gonna let voiceover Judah kind of explain it because it's not a lot, but I just don't have the brains right now to explain it properly at the top of my head. So I'm just gonna show you a map and what's going on and explain the whole project to you right now. So I should probably mention, first of all, what the Del Rio Trail actually is for those of you that aren't local. But basically, it's a bike trail that goes throughout Land Park, which is a pretty distinct area in Sacramento. It's where the Sacramento Zoo is, it's where Sacramento City College is, it's where Fairytale Town and Funderland are, and these are kind of like key elements to South Sacramento culture. So yeah, the Del Rio Trail is kind of a big deal and kind of awesome because basically it's a healthier and greener way of traveling throughout Land Park to see all these iconic Sacramento locations without having to worry about parking every 5 seconds or without even having to drive. So basically the Del Rio Trail project, which is what I'm talking about and what I'm doing right now, basically public art is going to be made throughout the trail for people to look at while they walk and while they travel. Now, I'm not making public art specifically, that is phase 2. And I forgot to mention, this project goes into 2 phases. So phase 1 is what I'm doing, and basically I am promoting and being an ambassador to this project. Okay, so like what voiceover Judah was saying, I'm in phase 1. And basically, I'm just an artist ambassador. I'm promoting and hyping the community and other artists up about phase 2, which is when they're making the sculptures for the trail. So after I received the commission award, which I was obviously ecstatic about, I came up with a plan on how I was going to be the perfect ambassador. I basically had this idea to dig deep into Land Park culture and its residents, so this was the plan I made to be the perfect ambassador. 1. Interview local residents, employees, and small businesses about their experience in Land Park, and then briefly tell them about the Del Rio project, and then ask them what they hope to see come out of it. 2. Make art to further bring awareness to the project, and art that's also inspired by the answers that I receive for the interviews that I give. 3. Display my art in some of these local businesses, and also add more information about the project. 4. Edit all these videos all by myself and show you what it was like to do all of this. Obviously, I had to start with step 1 of my plan, and that was to interview and get to know the trail's surrounding community. When finding people to interview, my mind immediately went to my art professors at Sacramento City College. Sacramento City College is like a huge chunk of the Land Park area. It is a smaller college, but it's still a big piece of the area, aside from the actual park. And it's also where I went to school for my associate's degree in fine arts. So the first interview I had officially was with my art professor, Gioia Fonda, and this is basically how the experience went. Enjoy. And by the way, apologies for the image quality. The lighting was kind of hard to, like, my camera just wanted to make everything really dark, so I'll probably show some of her art just so you can have something to look at. But then the other half of the interview's pretty decent, so yeah. Alright, hey everybody, it's Judah X Pimentel, your favorite surrealist artist, and today I'm here with a special guest, my color theory and acrylic painting professor from when I was in my college days, which is almost like 3 or 4 years ago. Like right before, I basically graduated right before the pandemic hit, or during, I don't remember. But basically she was like the last taste of like college art I think I had.
Really?
I think so. Like you were my last 2 art classes. So I just wanted to point that out because I really appreciate the, like how regardless of the circumstances of the world, you really like made a fun experience and you made it accessible, and you did what you could with the time being, and still made it like just educational. Like I didn't feel like I was missing out on anything. So
That's
kudos
nice to hear.
to you. Yeah.
Thanks.
Well, I'm sure a lot of people think that too. but I just want to make sure I say it
Thank
right
you.
before we get into the questions. And then before we get into the main questions regarding this specific project, would you like to introduce yourself however you want to the camera?
Sure. I'm Gioia Fonda, and I'm at Sacramento City College. I'm a full-time professor here, and I teach all things flat that aren't printmaking, and I make art, and I've got a studio at Verge Center for the Arts. That's pretty much the thing.
Okay, so then I'll put your art on the screen too, most likely, just so they can get an idea of what you do.
Okay. Are we in the dark? It feels like we're in the dark.
I feel like we are.
Okay.
It's light and oh wait, it's staying light? No, it's going back to oh well. Okay, so as I mentioned in the email, I am promoting the Del Rio Trail project, and I'm going to read because it's a lot.
That's fine.
Which is a project of making an accessible bike route that goes from Freeport and Meadowview to Centerville. So it's basically like a greener way of traveling and going place to place. Like you could go to the zoo and then go to the golf course and all the places people kind of want to go all the time on. So, now we're going to talk about the questions for you as a resident, as a professor here at Sac City, and here at Land Park, actually. So, first question, what brought you to Land Park?
Oh, well, I mean, this job. This job brought me to this area, and, you know, I'm always in this neighborhood, and I have a project right now that's at Fairy Tale Town, so I'm spending a lot of time in this area. I like to take students over there to draw sometimes. Both at the zoo and in the WPA Rock Garden, so I guess the park is what brings me to this area more than anything, and the school. The park and the school.
Okay, so more of like you, a lot of your work is here versus just like living here, but like a lot of what you do is specifically...
Yeah, I live a little farther away from here.
Yeah, me too.
And so, but I come to this area almost daily.
Yeah, so basically, you kind of get an idea of how
it's my work neighborhood.
Yeah. Work neighborhood. Okay, second question. Why Sacramento City College as an art professor?
Oh, well, I mean, the short answer would be you work where they'll hire you. And it's a competitive place out there. The long answer would be I love it here. I love community college. Everybody is trying to improve themselves in some way. Everybody's kind of in a state of transformation. And I think that colleges in general, but especially community colleges, are like utopias.
Yeah.
You know, it's everyone is welcome here. We've got young and old and all economic brackets, all colors, all abilities, and to me, it's a very, you know, it's a mini democracy that's like really representative of our city. And so to me, I'm really honored to be a part of this, you know, magical thing that we that our state has funded.
For sure. I kind of feel the same way about, like, I very much liked coming to something like this where I just feel like people are more relatable and people are more accessible, and there's a lot more people just rooting for each other, I think.
Yeah, I feel like everyone fits in because no one fits in.
Yeah, it just feels like it, like you said, like a mini democracy, like just like another world of people, like, and like people coming from so many different backgrounds versus something more like not exclusive, but kind of, I guess, like a bigger school or like an art school or
yeah, I feel like this is like the only other place where you really get this radically mixed up bunch of folks is like jury duty, public transit, but not even public transit, because like a lot of rich people don't take public transit, so like maybe jury duty and the DMV are like the two places where I think you'd get this same sort of mix. But this is like much better because we're here hanging out with each other. We're like in it together. We're in this whole project together. And I think I think people who have this experience take that energy out to the world with them beyond the campus.
So question number 3, change the lighting settings, by the way. Sorry about that. What do you enjoy about the culture here and how would you describe it?
Oh my gosh. When I compare notes with people who teach in different, you know, other kinds of places, I mean, we definitely have the best stories. Like, you just never know what's going to happen at City College. I feel like the other day I asked my students in my mural class, like, if we were to make a mural that was memorializing someone, who would you want to memorialize? And the answers were like all over the place. And I love that I would have never guessed some of the people that they suggested. I think that yeah, I feel like I learn as much as my students do every semester. You know, maybe I'm not learning the same content, like they're learning how to draw, but I'm learning about,
learning.
yeah, I'm learning about, you know, I don't know, I feel like this is a fountain of, I mean, not everyone I work with is youthful. You know, we have students that are, you know, 16 years old or 15 years old to like 80 years old. So I've got the whole spectrum, but I just feel really blessed to have access to so many different perspectives all the time.
Yeah.
And, you know, kind of a constant reminder that not everyone has the same background as me or the same ideas as me. And, you know, it's just, you just get all these wonderful views. And it helps you to, you know, I guess just stay more open to like where other people are coming from.
Yeah, and that's always been my goal too. When I socialize, when I learn, like just be surrounded by so many different people, because I feel like a lot of people kind of like to stay in their little clusters of people.
Sure. I mean, your close friends are for that. I mean, that's cool to find the people that, you know, your people. That's good. I believe in that. But I also think, like, you know, the bubble thing is not great for us.
Yeah, because then, like, when it's just like, because I remember getting quite a culture shock when I came here. Okay. And, like, I'm totally different than how I even was when I was actually studying here.
Yeah.
But, like, it was nice to hear people that didn't agree with me on everything, and that didn't learn the same way as me, and that didn't function or have the same background as me, so I can learn to be more empathic and learn to, like, just be with people and still be myself.
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah, and you can like someone and disagree with them at the same time. And I think like
a lot of people don't know that.
The world needs more of that. Like we need more practice at like, you know, getting along with folks that like are different than us. I think that is like, you know, just the very basics of what we need as a society.
Yeah.
So I like this because everybody gets a good dose of getting along here.
Yeah.
For the most part.
I remember that for sure. Okay, so number 4, we're going to get into the project in itself. What imagery pops up in your head when I say Lands Park? Like, what visually says this whole area of Lands Park?
Trees. Let's see. I mean, I think about people exercising. I think about people enjoying the duck ponds. I think about families enjoying, you know, things like the zoo and Fairy Tale Town.
Yeah.
I think about nice houses. Like this is like the, you know, the dream neighborhood in some ways. Like it's, you know, wide streets and nice landscaping, and I don't know. It can be a nice place to walk around. Sometimes I go for walks over here just because it's, you know, a comfortable place to go for a walk in some ways. I mean, it's, I ride my bike through more than I walk, but like it's pleasant. It's very kept nice. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, I use Freeport Boulevard a lot to get from point A to point B. Yeah. So I think of that street. It's not like the most attractive, like Freeport itself is not the most attractive street, you know, but there's some good stuff on that street, and it's a good corridor to know about. Yeah, I guess trees, my main thing, although that was like awful. I came back from, you know, January, there's just like, you know, because of the storms, all the downed trees, that was pretty depressing.
That's not what you mean though.
No, but I mean, you know, yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, I think trees is a good answer. Because, I mean, Sacramento in general has a lot of, like, trees. We're the city of trees.
Yeah,
but, like,
right.
I feel like Lands Park's very green. Like, it just...
Yeah, it's majestic to drive down these roads that have, like, tree cover. You know, when it's so hot, it feels, you know, like I can skip the bit, you know, to my studio. I might take Freeport and Broadway if I want to get there fast.
Yeah.
But in the summer, like I can zigzag through Land Park and like the sun won't even hit me if I can plan the streets right.
I can see that.
Yeah, so I think that's a beautiful thing.
Okay, so regarding this specific Del Rio project, what do you think about it as someone who works here?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess because I'm coming from a place that's farther west.
Yeah.
Or excuse me, farther east of the trail. Like, that's something that I would use. You know, I'd have to be purposefully going to that area to use that trail.
Yeah.
But I do use the bike trails in Sacramento. I think it can be, it's a real asset to have those kind of ways to bridge between parts of town where you don't have to kind of deal with the traffic and it can be quieter.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's, isn't that sort of adjacent to the river? Is it, or is there any river view along there, or no?
I don't think so. I'd have to look more into it because I've never actually walked it. So.
Oh my God, Judah, you have homework. You need to go walk that trail.
Actually, we're gonna walk the trail as a group of artists. I'm not sure what day. Probably next week.
Okay.
I think there's a set date to walk, and I'm hoping to do that. So
I think you're gonna encounter some river.
Maybe. I think that would make sense.
I feel like it's nearby. And so there's birds. I think of bird watching, whenever as soon as you kind of get to the quieter places just off the road, you can, it's not like wildlife with a capital W, like you're not going to see a bear or something. But, you can, the bird, we actually have a good, because of the marshlands and the river, we can identify a lot of birds here. It's actually pretty good.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
We like birds. Okay, so alongside the creation, like I said, of this accessible bike trail, the Del Rio project also has to do with creating public art through premises, which is, again, I'm promoting that. What do you hope to see regarding the public art that they install throughout the trail?
Oh gosh. Well, I hope that there's a lot of variety.
Yeah.
And I like to be surprised by something like a piece of public art. I think it's interesting when I can learn something new, or I can come across something that's unexpected.
Yeah.
Or I like it when something can make me laugh or think about where I'm at in a different way than I expected. Yeah. So I think there's a lot of ways to go with a project like that.
Yeah.
I think that, it's kind of strange, but even though it's in a natural environment, if you make a piece too much about nature, we might not notice it. And I also think sometimes it's hard to compete with nature, so don't even try.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe go a different direction with it. It can be about nature, but I think if you can't put a sculpture of a tree next to a bunch of trees. It's always going to lose.
It's going to look like those spy trees.
Yeah, or those cell phone towers. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like you got to, maybe think about contrast if you want it to be noticed.
That's a good word.
And
put that on the screen.
I think thinking about scale.
Mm-hmm.
I think that there's ways to, scale doesn't have to mean big. It could mean just thinking about humans interacting with it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that people sometimes like a place to stop or rest or to mark space so they feel comfortable about I'm halfway there, or, we passed that before, or I know that when I get, after the purple thing, I have to turn right. I think placemaking is part of the role that art can play in a situation like that.
They were talking about that during the meeting today, that they wanted, they want different kinds of sculptures, they want placemaking. Some people can be okay, past the purple thing.
Yeah.
And then they want, what was the other? Something, accessibility, so it's not I don't know what they meant by that actually, but I'd have to ask, but something about interactive, maybe?
Yeah, I think that sometimes when they're talking about an interactive component, they want people to be able to, people are always going to be drawn to an art piece and want to touch it or climb on it or engage with it in some way.
Yeah.
And so when you have a public piece, you have to kind of make it people-proof, but also inviting. So it's you can make it people-proof and also it's downtown, for instance. They might put a bunch of sharp things so no one sleeps there, so it's sort of, has an evasive message, don't actually hang out here, and then there's a way that you can kind of make things feel welcoming. You want people to hang out there. And then there's a way that you can kind of message, maybe without even words, it's okay to sit on this or to touch this or to, maybe touching it actually creates a patina on the piece.
Yeah.
So that can be inviting and accessible compared to something that is on a pedestal with roses planted around it, which is
it's don't touch it.
Yeah, this is only for looking at.
Yeah, I hope they make more accessible, interactive things, because I feel like that'd be more influential because people can actually touch it, interact with it. Like, they can make, I don't know what they're gonna do exactly, but, like, I think of, like, it's like I've seen art pieces at playgrounds where you can climb on them.
Yeah.
And they're, like, just these whole ass, like, sculptures that are, like, beautiful and they don't get destroyed.
Right. Or there's ways that you can make, like, interpretive text. So, like, if you're gonna help people identify, say, birds or trees, you know, accessibility might mean to provide Braille or, you know, to provide pictures for people who don't read that language or have it in more than one language. Like, there's all sorts of ways that you can make things, you know, interactive and more accessible to more people.
For sure. Well, that was all the questions.
Oh, okay. Wow. I thought it was like, oh gosh, she's being really thorough. I got to keep my thinking cap on. So good.
No, you're good. This is the conclusion. But yeah, I'm hoping to interview more art teachers if they get back to me. But this was Gioia Fonda, everyone. I'll put the full video on YouTube and probably edit a bit for the darker.
Yeah.
Darker.
Now I realized I was like slumping the whole time. I'm like, oh, I should have like sat up or something.
I was kind of slumping too, but
it's late in the day.
I don't think you can really tell.
Yeah, I think you have rainbows on you. That's because you're special and you sparkle.
I'm like, focus on me.
Yeah.
But yeah.
You should have rainbows on you.
I used to. It was too much rainbow at once. I'm trying to mute it a little bit.
Yeah, you do have a different palette than you did before. I always associate you with the color like mint green.
That's one of my favorites, yeah. Yeah, mint green's one of my... It's not too, like, pastel or too muted or too saturated. It looks good with
red, and I think you like red, too.
I kind depends on the red.
Like that darker purpley red.
Yeah, I like that.
I remember.
She's color reading. Color reading me. But yeah, so I'll see you in the next video.
Bye.
Alright. Okay, so that concludes this part of the series about Del Rio Trail Project. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope the intro to this series made sense. I hope I explained the project well. Even if you're not a local, who could care less, I hope it was interesting to you. And I just hope I make sense, because sometimes I can explain away and it makes sense in my head, but then it doesn't verbally. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you enjoyed the interview I had with Gioia. I had a good time. It was so nice to, like, catch up and kind of get to know her even a little bit more and her thoughts as a resident. What I concluded from her interview is basically she sees Lance Park as a very safe, diverse, multicultural place. Like she was saying, there's so many different people, and we all get to kind of learn from each other, and I think that's super important. And I think... I'm hoping that the public art will reflect that as well, and I hope that the Phase 2 artists will keep that in mind as well when creating these pieces, and I hope other Phase 1 artists will consider that when communicating with the community, because like every interview I've had has been kind of confirming, because they all kind of say similar things, but also you kind of see different aspects and opinions, and it's really cool to be in an area like that. But yeah, and then what she was hoping to see, and Phase 2 artists should probably take note, what she hoped to see in the public sculpture, and this is coming from an art professor, so mind you. She hopes to see contrast and scale, and basically for them to stand out against the nature, and be interactive, and I think that's super important, to be interactive to the community because it's for the community, but also stand out so they can easily identify it and easily see it, so it doesn't just blend in right away. But yeah, that concludes this first video, and I feel like this is going to be the longest one because I talk a lot, but also because I'm introducing the project. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. In the next video, it will be 2 interviews with 2 different local businesses talking about their experience, managers talking about their experience. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.